20 mesh centers. I think we snagged a little diamond. Gotta look at it closer here, but boy, is this thing is shiny, looks different right here at the tip of this specialized tool. I can't even pick this one up with my fingers.
Somewhere out there, sitting in a plowed field or a quiet hillside, there are rocks with real diamonds locked away inside of them. And the people walking past those rocks every single day have absolutely no idea what treasure they are quietly stepping over. Because a diamond never announces itself, and the rock that carries one is usually dull and dark and crumbly and completely unremarkable. So how would an ordinary person ever recognize the rock that holds the hardest and most famous gemstone that our planet has ever made? That is the whole question, and by the end of this video, you will be able to answer it with real confidence out in the field. You are going to learn the 3 rocks on this entire planet that are most likely to hold a diamond hidden somewhere inside them. You will learn what each one looks like and how it formed, and where it shows up, along with the clues that separate it from ordinary stone. You will also learn the colorful minerals that travel with diamonds, the ones prospectors treat like a trail of breadcrumbs in the dirt. And one of these 3 rocks sits in a public field in this country where anyone can dig it up and legally keep whatever they find. Think about that for a moment, because there is a place in America where an ordinary family can walk out holding a genuine diamond. I will also be completely honest with you about the odds, since these rocks hold far less treasure than most people ever imagine. Knowing which rock is worth your afternoon and which one is a waste of your time is honestly the most valuable skill in this whole hobby. Nobody is retiring on a weekend of digging here, and anyone who promises you otherwise is quietly selling you something you do not need. Diamonds form deeper than almost anything else you will ever hold, and the story of how they reach your hand is genuinely astonishing. They travel farther than any gemstone on Earth, riding an elevator of molten rock that erupted long before the first human ever walked. Many of the diamonds people wear today are older than the trees and the fish and nearly every living thing our planet has produced. So stay close with me, because you are about to learn to read the very rocks that carry diamonds up from the belly of the world. So, to start off right, the first thing you need to understand is that no rock sitting on the surface ever actually makes a diamond. Diamonds are pure carbon, squeezed and cooked into crystals about 100 miles beneath your feet, far below the deepest mine ever dug. Down there, the pressure is crushing and the heat is beyond imagining, and only in that violent place can carbon become diamond. So the rocks we are hunting today never created a single diamond, since their real job was simply to carry those diamonds upward. Think of them as elevators from the deep earth, ripping crystals loose on the way and hauling them toward the surface at frightening speed. That eruption is nothing like a normal volcano, since the molten rock races upward fast enough to arrive in a matter of hours. If it rose slowly, the diamonds would simply dissolve or burn away on the trip, which is why speed is the whole secret of their survival. Most of the diamonds that ever started that journey never survived it, which is one more reason these stones stay so genuinely rare. Let us meet the first and most famous of these 3 rocks. This rock is called kimberlite, and its name comes from the South African town where the Great Diamond Rush of the 1800s began. At that town, thousands of men dug a single pit by hand until it became the largest hole ever excavated with picks and shovels. They called it the Big Hole, and everything hauled out of it was kimberlite, which is how this strange rock earned its lasting fame. Kimberlite does not spread out in flows like ordinary lava, and instead it freezes in place as a deep vertical pipe through the crust. That pipe is wide at the top and narrows sharply downward, so geologists often describe its shape as an upside-down carrot in the ground. So you will never find a kimberlite ridge or a kimberlite mountain, since these bodies appear as isolated round patches of strange rock. They also weather much faster than the rock around them, so a kimberlite pipe often shows up as a shallow dip or a quiet swampy hollow. Now here is a beautiful detail that old miners noticed long ago, since kimberlite actually changes color as the weather works on it. Deep and fresh, it is a dark bluish-gray rock that the South African miners simply called blue ground back in the early days. Near the surface, oxygen and rain rust its iron and turn it into a soft, crumbly yellow-brown material they called yellow ground. That yellow ground is a gift to any hunter, since the rock has already fallen apart and released whatever treasure it was carrying. So the soil directly above a pipe is often far friendlier than the hard rock below, and it is where a hobby hunter should always begin. To recognize kimberlite in the field, start with its texture, because it rarely looks like a clean and orderly rock at all. It is a chaotic mess, a dark greenish-gray paste absolutely stuffed with broken chunks of other rocks torn from the walls of the pipe. Geologists call those torn fragments xenoliths, which simply means foreign stones, and they are the wreckage of the elevator ride. A rock that looks like dark cement full of random pebbles and mineral grains is exactly the sort of thing you should stop and examine. Ordinary lava looks orderly and even by comparison, so that jumbled, chaotic texture is one of your strongest clues in the whole field. Look for a faint greenish tint from the mineral olivine and for shiny brown flakes of mica that catch the light as you turn it. Kimberlite also feels heavy for its size, and the weathered kind often crumbles between your fingers into a soft clay-like mud. Some kimberlite carries enough magnetic minerals to nudge a compass needle, which is one more quiet clue that costs you nothing to check. And here is the part that surprises Americans, since kimberlite pipes really do exist inside the United States in several places. Along the border of Colorado and Wyoming, there is a whole cluster of them, and one of those pipes once operated as a real diamond mine. Wyoming geologists believe many more pipes still lie hidden there, waiting quietly under grass and soil for somebody to notice them. A kimberlite pipe has even been found up in northern Michigan, which surprised almost everyone who thought this rock avoided the region. Diamonds have also turned up in the glacial gravels of the Great Lakes, scraped off some hidden pipe by ice, and dropped hundreds of miles away. So a diamond can travel far from its home rock, which means gravel and stream beds are worth watching, even where no pipe is known. Now let us turn to the second rock, because it is far less famous than kimberlite, and yet it matters enormously to anyone living here. This rock is called Lamproite, and it is a close cousin of kimberlite that rises from the same deep places by the same violent process. For a very long time, nobody took lamproite seriously, and geologists mostly treated it as an odd curiosity with no real diamond potential. Then, a lamproite pipe in Australia turned out to be one of the richest diamond mines the world had ever seen, and everything changed. That mine also produced the rare pink diamonds that collectors chase, which showed everyone that this humble rock deserved real respect. Almost every pink diamond worn on Earth today came out of that single lamproite pipe, which has since closed its doors for good. And the reason lamproite matters so much to us is that it sits right there in Arkansas, in a plowed field open to the general public. That field is called the Crater of Diamonds, and it is the only place on this planet where anyone can hunt diamonds in their true source rock. You pay a small entrance fee, you dig in the dirt with simple tools, and you legally keep any diamond that you happen to find that day. The park even plows the field regularly, turning up fresh soil so that every visitor gets a genuine chance at untouched ground. Roughly 600 diamonds turn up there every year, found by ordinary families and curious tourists, rather than by mining engineers. The largest diamond ever discovered in this country came out of that very ground, weighing a bit over 40 carats when it was found. They named it the Uncle Sam, and it was pulled from Arkansas soil more than 100 years ago by a man simply working the field. Another visitor once picked up a perfect white stone of more than 16 carats, spotted only because it caught the sun as he passed. Stones like that keep turning up, and every one of them was found by a person with no equipment beyond patience and a careful eye. So what does this remarkable rock actually look like, and how would you recognize a piece of it out in the field on your own? Fresh lamproite is a dark and heavy rock, greenish-gray to nearly black, dense with olivine and glittering flakes of brown mica. That mica is called phlogopite, and it sparkles a warm bronze brown when the light hits it, which is one of the strongest clues you have. Just like kimberlite, lamproite is full of foreign fragments that it tore loose on the way up, so it looks jumbled and chaotic inside. Weathered lamproite falls apart into a soft and sticky greenish clay, and people at the Arkansas field simply call it the black soil. When that soil dries out, it turns pale and dusty, and when it gets wet, it becomes some of the stickiest mud you will ever walk through. Diamonds are far heavier than that soil, so hunters wash the dirt through screens and let the heavy grains settle to the bottom. They flip the screen over and study the middle, since the densest material always rides in the very center once the water does its work. The other classic trick there is surface hunting after a hard rain, when the mud washes off and the sun catches something with a strange shine. A rough diamond does not sparkle the way a cut one does, since it wears a soft, greasy shine that looks almost oily rather than glassy. That greasy look is the single most useful clue of all, because clear quartz and calcite both shine like glass rather than like oil. Rough diamonds are usually pale yellow or brown or smoky white, and the icy, colorless stone of a jewelry store is genuinely rare. Look for a small stone with rounded triangular faces, often shaped like two little pyramids joined base to base into an 8-sided crystal. Those faces are usually a little rounded rather than perfectly sharp, since heat and chemistry gently softened them on the ride upward. That 8-sided shape is called an octahedron, and it is the natural signature of a diamond growing freely in the deep mantle. Ordinary quartz grows as a 6-sided column with a pointed tip instead, so the crystal shape alone will often settle the question. Diamonds also hate water, which is a strange and useful fact, since mud and water slide right off them while sticking to ordinary rock. So a clean, oddly bright little stone sitting in a field of wet mud is exactly the sort of thing you should stoop down and pick up. And of course, there is hardness, since a real diamond will scratch absolutely everything, and nothing common can ever scratch it back. A diamond also feels noticeably heavy for its small size, and it often carries tiny triangular pits across its natural crystal faces. Those little triangles are growth marks from the mantle, and they are one of the details that quietly separate a diamond from an imposter. Now, I want to be completely honest with you about the odds, because this is where many videos quietly lie to their viewers. The Arkansas ground holds roughly 1 carat of diamond in every 100 tons of rock, which is a staggering amount of dirt for one small stone. Most diamonds found there weigh 1/5 of a carat or less, which means they are smaller than a grain of rice sitting in your palm. So people do not go there to get rich, and they go because digging up a real diamond with your own hands is an extraordinary feeling. The park staff will even identify your finds for free, which makes it a wonderful place to learn what a real rough stone looks like. Bring a screen and a bucket and plenty of water, since the field is wide open and the summer sun there shows nobody any mercy. Before we meet the third rock, I want to share one thing that can seriously speed up how fast you learn all of this material. I run a members area here on the channel, built for people who are serious about identifying what they find with real confidence. Inside it, each month I take one gemstone or mineral and break it all the way down, from how it forms to how you can test it at home. If you want that kind of edge, just tap the join button on your screen and come be part of this growing community of gem hunters. And if you have not done it yet, please tap subscribe as well, so the next discovery lands on your screen the moment it goes live. Now for the third rock, and this one is different from the other two in a way that most people find genuinely surprising. Kimberlite and lamproite are the elevators, and this third rock is the passenger that sometimes arrives with diamonds still trapped inside. It is called Eclogite, and it is a piece of the deep mantle itself, torn loose and carried upward as one of those foreign fragments. Eclogite never erupted on its own, so you will only ever meet it as a chunk sitting inside a kimberlite or a lamproite pipe. So hunting eclogite means hunting the pipes first, and then picking carefully through the broken fragments that the eruption dragged along. And here's the remarkable thing. Because diamonds actually grow inside eclogite down in the mantle, long before any eruption begins. So when you look at a piece of eclogite, you are holding a rock that once sat 100 miles down, possibly with diamonds inside it. Some of the finest specimens in the great museums are exactly that, an eclogite chunk with pale diamond crystals sitting right in the surface. It is honestly one of the most beautiful sights in all of geology, and it is the closest thing we have to a photograph of the deep earth. Scientists study the tiny mineral grains trapped inside those diamonds, since each one is a message sealed shut for billions of years. Eclogite is also easy to recognize, since it is one of the most colorful and striking rocks that our planet produces anywhere. It is built from two main minerals, and the combination gives it a look that people sometimes affectionately call the Christmas rock. The first is a grass green to emerald green pyroxene, which forms the background of the stone and gives it that vivid, living color. The second is garnet, appearing as round blobs of deep red to purplish red scattered through that green like berries in a bush. Red spheres in a green matrix is a pattern you will never confuse with anything else once you have seen it a single time. That green mineral formed under such crushing pressure that it locked sodium into its structure, which ordinary pyroxene never does. So the rock itself is a record of the deep earth, written in colors that survived a violent ride up through 100 miles of stone. Eclogite is also dense and surprisingly heavy, since the minerals inside it were squeezed together under unimaginable pressure. It carries no quartz at all, and its grains lock together tightly, giving the fresh surfaces a smooth and almost sugary appearance. So, if you are picking through the crumbly wreckage of a weathered pipe and you spot a red and green fragment, slow down immediately. That fragment traveled from a depth no human machine will ever reach, and it may still be holding a passenger from that journey. Most eclogite you meet will be diamond-free, of course, and yet the odds inside that green and red rock are far better than in ordinary stone. Even without a diamond, a good piece of eclogite is a genuine treasure, since very few people ever hold a real chunk of the mantle. Now let us talk about the trail of breadcrumbs, since diamonds almost never travel alone on their long ride toward the surface. The same eruption that carries a diamond also carries other deep minerals, and those minerals are far more common than diamond itself. Prospectors call them indicator minerals, and finding them is the single most reliable way to know that you are standing in the right place. The most famous of all is a garnet called pyrope, and its color runs from wine red to a deep and unmistakable royal purple. Pyrope is tough enough to survive being tumbled down a creek, so it turns up in stream gravels far from the pipe that released it. When geologists find pyrope grains in a stream, they simply walk upstream, watching the grains grow more common as they close in. The grains also grow sharper and less worn as you approach the source, since they have spent less time being tumbled by the water. That patient game of following the grains upstream has led directly to the discovery of real diamond pipes around the world. The second breadcrumb is chrome diopside, a mineral with such an intense emerald green that it looks almost artificially bright. Chrome diopside is fragile and weathers away quickly, so finding it means you are close to the source rather than miles downstream. That fragility makes it precious information, since a bright green grain is practically shouting that the pipe is somewhere nearby. The third is ilmenite, a heavy black mineral with a metallic shine that shows up alongside the others in the heavy sand of a pan. So, when you wash a pan of gravel and find purple garnets and green grains and heavy black metal together, your heart should race. Those three minerals almost never gather in one place by accident, since only a deep eruption could have carried them all together. That trio is the classic fingerprint of a diamond-bearing pipe hiding somewhere upstream, waiting quietly under the grass and soil. A fourth breadcrumb is chromite, a heavy black grain that survives almost anything, and it rides along with the others in your pan. You pan for these minerals exactly the way people pan for gold, letting the heavy grains sink while the light material washes away. Spread your heavy sand on a white tray in good sunlight, since a single purple garnet grain leaps right out against that pale background. Now, a word of honest caution, since finding indicator minerals never guarantees that any diamonds are actually present in that pipe. Most kimberlite pipes on Earth are completely barren, holding not one economic diamond despite carrying every breadcrumb mineral. Even so, learning these minerals turns a random walk into a real search, since you finally understand what the ground is telling you. Mining companies spend fortunes and years following these very grains, and they still walk away empty-handed more often than not. So treat every purple garnet as a good day rather than a fortune, and let the hunt itself be the thing that keeps bringing you back. Before we wrap up, there is one more treasure worth knowing because it comes out of the very same rocks we have been hunting today. That treasure is the pyrope garnet itself, the very breadcrumb that leads prospectors toward diamonds in the first place. Most people think of it as a humble clue, and yet a clean pyrope is a genuine gemstone that jewelers cut and set with real pride. Its color is extraordinary, a deep blood red that can shift toward violet, glowing warmly whenever strong light passes through it. The finest of them are known as chrome pyrope, and that touch of chromium gives them a rich fire that rivals a fine ruby. Chromium is the very same element that colors a ruby red and an emerald green, which is a lovely piece of chemistry to carry with you. Pyrope is hard and durable and beautifully clear when it is clean, so a good crystal makes a lovely gem for a ring or for a pendant. And best of all, garnets show up far more often than diamonds do, so a patient hunter is rewarded far more often than you might think. Visitors at that Arkansas field regularly walk away with garnet, amethyst, and jasper even on the days when no diamond ever appears. So the same ground that hides the hardest gem on Earth quietly offers a consolation prize that is genuinely worth taking home. A handful of purple garnets is proof that you read the ground correctly. If you want to go deeper into all of this, I put together a book for people who want more than any single video could ever give them. It is called Gemology Journey for Beginners, and you can find it waiting for you over on Amazon whenever you feel ready to dive in. Inside it, I walk you through simple tests you can do at home, using plain, everyday language and common tools instead of confusing science. You learn hardness and density and luster, and you learn the mistakes that cost beginners real money when they finally sell a stone. It also covers the imposters, since knowing what a stone is not will protect your wallet just as surely as knowing what it is. It is built to take a curious beginner and quietly turn them into someone who can recognize real treasure with honest confidence. But if right now is simply not the time for that, there is honestly no problem at all, because you can keep learning here with me for free. Just subscribe to the channel, leave a like if this helped you out, and watch the next video that is already waiting there on your screen. In it, I show you even more hidden treasure that might be resting quietly in the ground much closer to your home than you would ever guess. Thanks for liking and subscribing. Good luck, Gem Hunter!